What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good afternoon to you lot. Welcome to the Man United versus Wolves preview. Got to get into it, man. Hope everyone's doing good. First of all, you lot know what to do. Little bit of a roll call. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you lot are new to the channel. Let me know where you're watching from as well. I always like to know that. And again, I said it yesterday, but I'll say it again in case you missed it. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a good, positive day yesterday. Everyone makes a lot of New Year's resolutions. Everyone wants to change a lot of stuff, maybe cut some stuff out, whatever. Whatever you did do, I hope you started on the front foot yesterday. That's what I do hope. 007 from Zambia. We've got Kawumulo from South Africa as well. Bruno will ruin the team, says Truth. That's what we're going to get into. Should Bruno start this game? Tough game against Wolves. A decent performance against Burnley. I mean, look, when I break it down and relax about it and, you look at it, it's another game unbeaten. It was a decent-ish performance, and we want to build on that. And we haven't lost in a little while now as well. We haven't lost in a little while. Bruno was out of the last game and Rashford was out of the last game. I want to ask you guys what you guys think about that. Should both of them return to the starting lineup? Hold tight, Kristen in Essex. Kristen says, I wouldn't play Bruno tomorrow as well. And Bishop from Singapore. And Tamrat says, Happy New Year from Germany. And Bruno should start, definitely, says Mark Riley as well. And Billy says he loses the ball 20 times a game. Big up Pat as well from Thailand. So a lot of people, look, already I can see where this is going to go. Tech Lords from Botswana says Rashford bench again. Bruno should start. Rashford no, says Star-Lord. Cooley says, no, Bruno shouldn't start, but we know that he's going to. So is Maguire. So already I can see the kind of consensus in the comments in the community as well. So you lot get involved. It's pinned at the top. Should Bruno start this game against Wolves? Look, you always know facing Wolves is a difficult game. It always is. And if you look at how they've been playing this season, they've been up and down. But one thing that is factual is they do not concede a lot of goals. I was looking over their last few games or so, and the last time they conceded more than 2 goals was against Palace in early November. A narrow defeat to City with 10 men for the whole of the second half. Beat Brighton 1-0, 0-0 against Chelsea. So, they don't score a hell of a lot of goals, but they definitely don't concede a lot of goals. And if you're going to beat Wolves, you need to be, you're going to have to work hard for it, is what I'm saying. No one usually rocks up and rolls them over 2-3-0 with ease. It just doesn't happen. Sometimes they play with a 3-4-3, or sometimes they play with a 3-5-2. I think against us, I think they'll go to 3-5-2. Instead of the 3 up front. Obviously, they haven't had Hwang for a little bit. We know their threats. The players like Trincao, players like Prudence, Neto's still injured. And Hwang's been doing well, even though he's been out for a bit. Obviously, Jimenez is strong in the air. Good hold-up play, good focal point up front. They're going to work hard in midfield. The likes of Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker. Back 3, Saiss, Cody. I can't remember who the other one is, but they're going to be difficult to beat. Fullbacks flying on as well. So, look, in terms of us, Bruno, should he start? I don't know, man. I think he should. I mean, only because he's not going to bring in Donny, is he? He's not going to bring in Donny. But then again, Sancho should start. And Greenwood did all right. Actually, I don't know where I stand on this. I lean more to him not starting now I think about it. I know there's a situation of you get him back in and, hopefully he can play through it and stuff like that. But I just think Sancho is growing in confidence. He looks like he's getting better. Yes, that went down as an own goal against Burnley, but still would have improved his confidence. And I think he needs to keep playing. Greenwood was active as well and did well. And Rashford definitely, I'll get onto Rashford in a bit. Cavani and Ronaldo have to stay up front. So it only leaves those 2 10 positions. I think Sancho definitely starts again. And I think Greenwood should too. As well. I think, I'd love to see Donny get a chance. It's January. We don't know. I don't think he's going to leave, but we still haven't been able to give him a chance in any of the 10 positions. He's not getting the game time. So that's an issue. But for me, I wouldn't upset the balance. I would let Bruno work his way back in. I think almost like when you use it to your advantage as a manager, if you wanted to change things. So, okay, Bruno, you were suspended, but the team played quite well against Burnley, and I want to see that develop. I want to see what that looks like. So you're going to start this one on the bench, and I'll look to bring you on. Because you know what? Bruno coming off the bench in a game that might be tight, in a game that hopefully we're like 1-0 up, then you bring him on and then you take a little bit more risk or you go and get something, or if it's 0-0 and you need to unlock them. Bruno coming off the bench is actually a really good option. It's a really good option. I think we forget that. I'm not in the camp of Bruno's our best this, so he has to start every single game. We have seen Bruno being playing shocking for the last few months, really. Last couple of months, amongst others, but since we're talking about him, Bruno has not been at it. And I think it would send a message to him, and I think he'd respond to it. I don't think he will sulk because he doesn't like not playing, but it will also show him that, yeah, okay, you were suspended, but these guys done okay, and I'm gonna go with them. When you get on the pitch, give me something. Do you know what I mean? When you get on the pitch, give me something. That's what I want to see. Bishop says Donny, Matic, and Bruno. Donny, Matic, Bruno, and Sancho. Okay, interesting. I don't think that will happen, but interesting. Carpool says, morning Flex, Happy New Year. I'm not sure about tomorrow's game. The way we've been playing it doesn't give you any confidence. Donny will never be picked, says Haydar. And Junior G says, Donny is done at United Flex. He can't even start under Ralph. Probably agree with you, bro. Tetlaw says, Rashford in the 60th minute would be ideal. Bruno should start Flex. Interesting there, so disagreeing with me there about Bruno starting. Big up Darren. He says, he will be better. He will play with a bit of pressure, knowing that his place is on the line. So I'm guessing you're saying don't start him, I believe. And Steven says, big up Flex. Currently sitting listening on the balcony in Tenerife, 28 degrees heat, man. I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't hear that because I'm not even jealous, bro. I'm not even jealous. Not. Flex Bruno moans to the ref a lot. And Jamie, big up you. You said Flex. Are you looking forward to El Portugal tomorrow? Both squads have a lot of Portuguese players. Yeah, exactly. Well, do you know what? Obviously, Ronaldo will start. I think Bruno will start. I don't think Dalot will start as the other Portuguese player. I don't think he will start. So look, my thing is, I would rest Bruno again. Well, it's not even resting; it's dropping. I would not allow Bruno to start the game. I think he's been playing so poorly for a while. I think if you're going to send that message to Rashford, maybe you could send it to Bruno, because Bruno's not really had that message sent to him. If Bruno wasn't suspended versus Burnley, he was probably going to play. Do you know what I mean? He was going to play. That's the issue. So, as much as we want Bruno fit and firing, and I want him back in good form, you do want to send some messages. We sent one to Rashford, didn't even come on. Red Baron, big up Red Baron, says, I think United fans are infused with this negativity from Ollie. So I don't think I can watch with my United brothers and sisters this time. What, because you feel there's too much negativity still following on from Ollie? Is that what you mean, Red Baron? Do you think people have been too overcritical of the performances or lack of under Ralph Rangnick so far? I feel like that's what you're saying. Kartik says, Flex, do you think the 4-2-2 works? At the moment, no. At the moment, no. I do look at it, and naturally, with the players we have, I don't think it works, but I'm still just willing to be patient and to see if they can grasp it and see if it can click into gear. After that Newcastle game in particular, I know we were really bad, and it's, it was still a draw. Big up Red Baron, that's what you're saying. I appreciate that. I feel like after that Newcastle game, I was so angry with the performance, and I did look at it, apart from the players not trying hard enough, I did look at it and say, does this really suit us? And I think it probably doesn't on paper. Rashford doesn't. For me, Rashford doesn't want to play as an inside 10. That's not his game. He's not creative like that. He's not that good in tight spaces in central areas. I don't think he's good at linking up with players in that area of the pitch. For me, Rashford's best position is where there's width. He can see the goal clearly in front of him from a wide position. He can cut in onto his right foot, link up with players that way and get at fullbacks. That's what I think Rashford's best game is. But it's about adaptability. It's about us maybe seeing something out of these players that we've never seen before. And that's trusting in the manager. I'm not going to, after 4 games or 5 games, whatever it's been, which has been a little bit underwhelming by performance levels, not so much results, but definitely performance. I'm not going to sit here and say this guy doesn't know what he's doing and it's never going to work. Because the answer is, I don't know. If he manages to coach these players and show these players that they need to work with intensity, they're not going to play it, and this is how we are going to play in this system, and if you don't want to play it and you're not going to fit it, then you're not playing, then, we'll see if we get a reaction out of the players. That's it, to be honest. We'll see if we get a reaction out of the players. But as of now, I think it's too early for me to be like, do not play it. There's no point. I do feel it's not right for our players, but I'm still willing to see if the players adapt. Sir Nigel Farage says Bruno unsettles the cohesion and balance of the team. He does when he plays how he's been playing, which is giving the ball away, trying to force the issue, and just constantly just whinging, really, when things ain't going well. He does upset the balance of the team if he continues to play in that manner. However, if we get a Bruno that's reined in, if we get a Bruno who just changes the way he plays slightly, and I don't mean completely take the risk out of his game, because that's not what we need either. We don't want Bruno not trying balls through the lines, not trying to play people in who are on the last defender, not trying to find Ronaldo with a header. We don't want him not doing it. But if we rein it in a little bit to help us keep more control of the game, then we can get a different Bruno, Nigel Farage. So I get what you're saying. This top, Phoenix Rising, man. Someone sent it to me who watches what I do, and they wanted to send me a gift, and they support Phoenix Rising, so they sent me a shirt. It says Flex on the back as well. Appreciate that. I think it's a team job we used to play for as well. Where we hit that like button, says David Lee, and Mogul says we need to step up our game flex. Arsenal and Tottenham improved so much since the last time we met. 100%. And when we do play Arsenal again, you're looking at Arsenal. I watched that game yesterday, and look, listen, I know this is a bit off topic. They'll moan and cry that they lost because of the referee and VAR, but they didn't. They lost because Gabriel's an idiot and Xhaka conceded a stupid penalty, even though you call it soft, whatever. But that's the reason they lost. But take your little unbiased hat off, your biased hat off. They are improving under Arteta 100%. And if we had to play Arsenal in this little period away, you wouldn't fancy it. Not that you wouldn't fancy it, but you would be worried. You would definitely be worried. And the same with Spurs. If we had to play Spurs away now under Conte, they might not be lighting it up. They just nicked it in the end against Watford. But they're organised and they're tough to beat. So you're right. Give the captaincy to CR7 and drop Maguire, says Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage is really coming with those strong opinions. Just like out there in society, Nigel. You've always got a lot to say. Warren Young says Xhaka was tugging shirts like Maguire. Yeah, exactly. Can't drop Maguire. There's no placement. Says Insol. Sort of saying about dropping Maguire. Yeah, look, he wants to have Lindelof back because of he obviously tested positive for COVID. But if he's not ready yet, definitely can't drop Maguire. Eric Bailly's going to be off to the African Cup of Nations and had to come off, picked up a knock. So it's going to be Varane and Maguire almost certainly. Fullbacks though, I think Luke Shaw, like I said it against Burnley. He did enough to keep his spot for me. I think he did. Wan-Bissaka's an interesting one because I thought he was okay. Look, I don't have a Wan-Bissaka agenda. I thought he was okay in the first half. And like many, just a little bit flat in the second. And then obviously done that Wan-Bissaka-ish, that Wan-Bissaka moment, which is only he can do it with the Brackfoot left foot pass out of play, which is the one big thing he done all game that was just wrong. And a couple of times giving it away. But he wasn't horrendous. I mean, it's much of a muchness. I mean, Dalot just obviously keeps the ball better and just looks more composed on the ball. But in terms of the physicality that I think Ralph's looking for, I almost see it in a weird way, yeah, like the McTominay and Fred situation. Do you know what I mean? Where Wan-Bissaka will be intense and be up people's asses, and maybe not a lot might go past him if you try and run past him with the ball. But Dalot will give you more like composure with the ball at his feet, and you've got more confidence that he can deliver a cross or come up with a bit of quality. And he's much more comfortable at coming inside with his weaker foot as well if he has to play a pass with his left foot or even take a couple of shots. Dalot's done that a couple of times. They've gone close. I feel like they're a hybrid where like we need a bit of both of them into one player. So what you lack with Wan-Bissaka, Dalot would give you. What you lack with Dalot, Wan-Bissaka will probably give you. And eventually, I just feel like we need a whole answer of one player who can just do both really well and end up with a player who's like a Cancelo or like a Walker or like a James or like a Trent. I know you can't just magic those players up out of nothing, but a better balance right back. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I think we need eventually. So Nigel Farage says, could play Bruno as a striker off Ronaldo or Cavani. Yes, we kind of went to that formation in the second half against Newcastle, didn't we? 4-3-1-2 went with, didn't he? And then, it kind of worked. It kind of worked, I'd say. We started getting a little bit more possession, and the chances we did have against Newcastle came from the wide areas. But yeah, in terms of Dalot / Wan-Bissaka starting, much of a muchness. I wouldn't really be too disheartened if either. I think now there's just genuine competition in that spot. We can all say, and I'm the first to say it, that Wan-Bissaka might lack in certain areas, and I prefer Dalot. But in certain games, when you've got a tricky Prudence running at you, or a Trincao or Huang, whoever it is, you might say Wan-Bissaka, you know what, you're going to be the guy to lock this guy off. Dalot can easily play in this game, but we shall see. Jamie Easter says, Flex, I do hate the fact that some of the fan base has certain agendas against players. I'm a big Maguire fan and hate the abuse he gets week in, week out. Interesting point, that, Jamie. Because my thing is that, although I have a laugh with KG about Wan-Bissaka, in all honesty, I don't think you should have an agenda against a player. To me, an agenda is where the player can do no right. I think there's a difference between an agenda and picking up on criticisms or criticizing players for things you don't think they're very good at and maybe will never be good at, or if you think they're just not good enough for where you want us to be. An agenda is just straight, someone can drop an 8 out of 10, or over a consistent basis, you can see them maybe change around their fortune, and because you're still stuck with what you said before, you won't change your mind. Let me know what you think about that, Jamie, actually, in the free seats. That's a nice point. Tell me what it is you why you're a big fan of Maguire and why you think he's so being harshly treated. I like that. So Nigel Farage is back. He says the width with Sancho and Greenwood needs to keep. Yeah, and when they play is in inside tens, obviously the natural width isn't there. The width comes from obviously when they sprint out into those positions, or when we have the ball, one may go out there and create that width, and then when we defend, we're very narrow. And then if the fullbacks get it, or wingbacks in this case, then it's their job to go out and cover that ground. So there's a hell of a lot of running to do in that position. That's what I mean. It changes the complexity. I mean, even if they were playing as forwards, I suppose, as a left winger or a right winger, they would still be expected to put that level of running in, I suppose. So actually, I think it's just a different type of role in terms of running in kilometers. He wants them all to run harder. They all need to run harder, run faster, run further. I get that. But I suppose it's almost saying like, okay, when we haven't got the ball, just tuck in and sit there, and then be aggressive in trying to press when the ball goes wide. So they've got just a different kind of thing. In terms of the two sitting players as well, in either McTominay and Fred, or Matic and McTominay, or whoever it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But they're going to be important because, like I said, I think they're going to play three central midfielders, and I think they'll probably go Dendoncker, Neves, and Moutinho, and then have wing backs either side of them because they're going to play the five. So there's going to be a lot of work to get through in there, and that's why it's important that whoever plays in the inside 10 positions, whether it's Bruno and Sancho, which I think it probably will be, I got a feeling Mason will lose his spot to Bruno. Whether it's them two or whether it's, Bruno and Mason again, I don't know. But whoever it is, it's important that they do keep that little 20 by 20 box, 15 by 15 box, where they all move as a little, kind of like a little rectangle or a little square in tangent, because they're going to have to stay compact to help against that three. And then if they've got, say, Ait-Nouri on one side, I don't know if he's injured, and Semedo on the other, going for it, then that's when they need to be alert to get out and block that off, because that is what Wolves are going to want to do. Wolves are going to come and they're going to sit back. They'll have periods of possession because they can keep the ball well, but I think they'll sit back and look to pounce, personally. Tabaras Hassan, thanks for Super Chat. He says, Maguire and agenda doesn't mix. Big up to Flex. Glory, Man United. Tahabo says, I prefer Matic with Fred. And Jamal says, man like Flex, my bro, shows how it's... how's it going? I'm doing good, Jamal. Big up yourself. Single pivot was a lie. We will never play it, says Mark O. Yeah, we played it in what game? The Young Boys game, didn't we? With Donny in the single pivot. And then Jesse and Matt are ahead of that. But yeah, it was fair to say it didn't work in that game. But that was with those three players, though. I just don't think... But I think where you're saying it's a lie is because obviously Ragnick clearly wants to sit in. With that 4-2-2 formation. Sanjeev says Bruno should earn his way back into the team. And Fred says Bruno doesn't have good games though, Flex. And a super chat here from Noam De Guerre says Ralph Rangnick can't be Prem manager. We need him higher up the organisation to be the manager of managers to ensure 3Cs are implemented. Fair enough. Maguire has been protected in the media for long enough. All of a sudden, it's an agenda, says ESSMS. And Aaron says, if we bring in a CDM to pair up with either Fred or McTominay, who are you picking? I just honestly think it's a difficult question. I'd rather go, and I'll tell you why, Aaron. I appreciate that question. I'll tell you why, because I'll say the hypothetical to answer your question. I would go with someone like a Declan Rice or someone like, would I take Ndidi? Yes, I think he's okay. I would take him if the price was right. I do like Frank Kessie. I think he's pretty good. But because you don't know who you're going to get, and it's difficult to go and handpick that player, I'd probably just go more of the attributes. And if I think about it, I like what Declan Rice does. I think he's like he's a better version of McTominay. And people can laugh and say, "Flex, are you mad?" He's way better than McTominay, and I get why people think that. But I'm saying he's better than McTominay. But the way what I like is how he can drive with the ball, how he can release the ball at the right time. He can win fouls. He can intercept. His passing range is good. He is a bit like a jack of all trades. He himself, Declan Rice, will probably say he needs to get more goals. A lot of people saying Basuma in the chat as well. 100% I'll take Basuma as well. Again, who I think is like a slight upgrade on Fred. But I think the balance will come, because like I said in yesterday's show when we were talking about Ralph needing a midfielder, like Pogba's probably going to leave. So we're going to need an attacking midfielder again who can play in central midfield, not as a 10, but as an actual attacking midfielder. Or we either choose to go in a different way, which I don't think we will, but we choose to go in a different direction and say we just got two out-and-out box-to-box midfielders, or one who can kind of cover a little bit and the other one goes more forward slightly, as opposed to two specialists. You know what I mean? And then you let Bruno kind of roam. But I don't think we're going to go back to a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 with a 10 position. I don't think we will. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Starlord says, Rice, baby. Declan Rice way overpriced, says G-Man. Exactly. No way on this earth is Declan Rice worth 100 million. But unfortunately, two factors that do make him worth 100 million is the current market and the value and he's English. That's two things. And the third one actually is the fact that West Ham, he's that valuable to West Ham. West Ham will put that price tag on him because he is that valuable to them. Same way Aston Villa did with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish should never cost 100 million years. He should never cost 100 million pounds in 100 million years. But he was that valuable to Villa. He was their captain. Like Declan Rice is the captain at West Ham, although it's noble, but you know it's Declan because he plays. I think I've got that right. Might be wrong. But you know when they're English, you get that English premium. Do you know what I mean? Jadon Sancho 73 million. Jude Bellingham probably the next 100 million midfielder. English, you know what I mean? English players are going to go for big money, especially when they move within the Prem. So yeah, I like Declan Rice, but that kind of price, because to bring him here would be something like that, and I'm just not for it anymore, man. I've learned, right, that you can't tell me that there isn't value out there abroad. You know, picking up one of these combative defensive midfielders from the French league, like we're looking, like, you know, looking at like the Kessies, even though he's in Italy, or Kamara out there in France. You know, players like that, a young up and coming, combative, energetic. You know, it was Camavinga at one stage until that passed. These types of players, I know Tchouaméni's always been an option or roundabout an option. People like that, you can't tell me that you can't go and find someone who's really good for 40 million, 50 million. You can. It doesn't always have to be, you know, big 100 million ready-made, or when Declan Rice's not even ready-made. What is he, 22, 23? He's got a lot of years to grow, and I know that's partly why you're paying such a high price, because he's got so long to go. But come on, man, we've got to start getting better value for money. And also, if we're trying to build a team, I don't see all the other big teams go out and do that. When City got Ferran Torres, he wasn't like 100 million. Did well. Yes, he's gone now, but I'm just proving that's what they do. João Cancelo, same thing. City managed to do it, and they've built the best team arguably in the world. Liverpool have managed to do it. They've only got Jota for 40 million. Jota. And look what he does in their system. They've got Mane, Salah, all these players for like 35, 40 million. At the time, these weren't the guys. That's why I will say, this Julian Alvarez link, yes, I still don't know bags and bags about him, but what I am buying into is the notion that he could be a 19 million pound player, but we get him and he's exactly what we need, and he's a breath of fresh air. Look at what Arsenal have done with Martinelli. I know it's different, but they bought him from Brazil, you know, and then put him in. They bought him to play. I think they spent 15, 20 million on him or something like that. I don't know the exact number. What I'm saying is they invested in someone who hardly anyone knows. Now they've got this kid in the first team running around doing bits. Do you know what I mean? after spending like £73 million on Pepe. So what I'm saying is it doesn't always have to be. I want a proper transfer strategy unearths players like that. A proper scouting setup unearths players like that. Do you know what I mean? 6 million. There you go. Apologies. I didn't even know. There you go. People saying 6 million. Must have some Arsenal fans in here, or people who just obviously know about the deal more than I do. Martinelli, 6 million. There you go. They spent 6 million on bringing him to Arsenal. You know, and he wasn't given that many chances at the start, and then had injury problems from what I saw. And then look what he's doing now. He looks really good and looks like he can grow into a really, really top player. So it's not about identifying only a Haaland and then that's going to make us win the league, or only the Ronaldo that's going to make us win the league, or only getting a Jude Bellingham is going to cost 100 mil. Like, no, where's all these players like a Julian Alvarez that we're looking at? Again, I don't know. Drake Josh says Julian Alvarez is the next Aguero. Mark my words. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I don't know the kid like that, but you know, he looks intense. He looks like he runs a lot. He looks like he's good with both feet. He looks like he can be a player. But I like the fact that we're linked to someone who isn't just the name brand thing, and he's going to come in potentially. Tchouameni is the guy flex. I know this, says Casey. I've still got stocks in Palestri, says Benji. We bought him for 6 million. Yeah, was it? No, I think we bought him for a bit more than that, Palestri. Wasn't it like 12 million or something like that? 13? Something like that. But anyway, Palestri is another one. Palestri is another one of those where it's like, it's one for the future. Why, you know, let's invest in players like that. I know we've bought him and sent him straight out on loan. Ahmad, another one. But Ahmad was peas. Ahmad was the best part of 35 million pounds, probably rising to 40 or something like that. So again, Ahmad, he probably needs a loan. Yes, I understand, but my gosh. Nearly 1,000 people watching, guys, which is sick. We only got 178 likes. Come on, peeps, come on. We should be at 500 likes live at least. Do you know what I mean? O&O says it there. Almost 1K watching and less than 100 likes. We're on more than 100 likes now, but come on, guys, hit that like button. 100%. If you haven't done that, smash a like on the way through. Let me see that rise up as we're talking, which it is. Let's see if we get to 500 whilst watching live. We are going to have a show today at 7 p.m. as well. We didn't finish off. And I'm going to kind of ask you guys now just to think about it, but I know you guys are going to put it in the comments anyway. But we were so busy, we didn't get to finish off the best of 2021. And before it gets too far into 2022, we've got to finish off who the forward of 2021 is. And I want to do that as well before we play tomorrow, before it starts getting a little bit skewed. Because say Rashford starts tomorrow and scores 9 goals in one game, it's going to skew what you think. But yeah, the best forward of 2021 we're going to do tonight. And a little bit of transfer news as well. Family Guy P says, are you at the game tomorrow? Is the Pope Catholic? Do you know what I mean? Of course I am, 100%. As usual, I will be there every game. Need a big result tomorrow, says no net plays. We do. And you know what? Let's look at that actually. A couple of stats on the game. Man United have won their last 3 Premier League games against Wolves, last having a longer winning run against them in the league competition between 1964 and 68. Wolves are winless in their last 10 away games against Man United, drawing 3 and losing 7. Since a 1-0 win in February 1980, Wolves have failed to score on 7 occasions in that run, netting just 3 goals in total. Wolves haven't scored first in any of their last 13 Premier League games against Man United since beating them 1-0 at Molineux in 2004. So look, when Wolves first came up, you guys used to see, obviously as at United standard at the time, you guys would know from watching then, I always used to say, Wolves, man. Wolves, like I just hate Wolves. We can't win against them. I remember it was a couple of years ago, FA Cup replay. Went to extra time, I think it did. Mata scores, little dink over Patricio, I think it was. And that was after, sorry, not extra time, that was in a replay. That was a replay match. At Molineux, we lost. We lost to them in the league. Did we lose to them in the cup as well? No, sorry, then we just about beat them in the cup, and then we kept drawing against them. We drew them at home, then we drew them away again. And I think it was last season where it was the last away game of the season when Alanga scored, was like the first time we beat them in ages since they come up. And then obviously we beat them this season as well when we got the 1-0 win. That was after we just announced Ronaldo. Good day out. bad performance, but because they should have beat us then as well. They had bare chances. So Wolves are a little bit of a bogey team. They're always difficult to beat. Tabara says we need a pure 6 now. McTominay is an 8. Buying a Paul Pogba, Donny van de Beek replacements is a summer issue. 100%. 100% agree with you regarding the quality abroad. I want Chouamini. Interesting. 4-2 win tomorrow, says David Lee. I've read that super chat there. And Charles, no, I've read that one already. That Alvarez kid, remember me, reminds me of a young Luis Suarez. Interesting. Rashford is the next Walcott. Won't even get to 100 Premier League goals. I don't agree with that. I think he will. Attributes over names. It's the attributes that make the system, not always the players' namesake, says DJ. Big up, DJ. You're right. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's not, we'll talk more about this later on when you come on the show. DJ's going to be on the show tonight at 7 as well. That's what I mean. Like, it's not all about the name brand situation. Sometimes we can just, if you set up properly with the coaching and the scouting network, and you're really looking at what's going to fit what the manager wants, then looking at the attributes over the name is what you should be doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Flex, do you think we missed Lindelof, says United Fan TV? A little bit. He's been our most consistent defender this year, definitely. And I feel like Lindelof's work goes a lot under the radar. I think, yes, he can get bullied sometimes. But recently, I think he's kind of taken that little bit out of his game. Because like I said, you can be slow. Look, if you're a good enough central defender, you can mask your own weaknesses. I always go back to say John Terry or Vidic or whatever. Players who weren't the quickest, they just never would be in a position to get outpaced because they was always in the right position because they read the game better than anyone else. Players who maybe aren't as good on the ball or don't read the game as well, but they're super, super fast. They can get out of positions through natural ability. So, look, I think Lindelof is really good on the ball. He's better than people give it credit for. But there's this myth there's this over-exaggeration about how good Harry Maguire is on the ball when you give him time and space. But Lindelof, equally, how many times has he hit that pass over the top or that pass in the channel that either puts Bruno through or puts Rashford through? He's done it time and time again. The one he done one on his left foot where Rashford was through. Who was that against? Was it against Wolves? Sorry, was it against Leicester away? I can't remember, but he did one on his left foot. It could have been in the Champions League last year. Sorry, Europa League last year. Might have been against Roma. He hit one with his left foot anyway. Diagonal ball. Bishop says Lindelof's ball, diagonal ball was overrated. Fair enough. Tuchel dropped Lukaku. We didn't drop Pogba after a comment against Leipzig. Interesting. Was it Leicester? Yeah, someone's saying Leicester. But anyway, his work is going unnoticed. And back to the question, do we miss Lindelof? Yeah, I think we do. I think we missed that car. I wouldn't mind seeing Varane and Lindelof, personally. I do want it to be Eric Bailly, but I know he wasn't injured the other day. He said he was just tired, but eventually he's going to get injured. I think Lindelof is a more consistent performer than Maguire. Even though you can say Lindelof might not be as dominant in certain areas like in the air and stuff, but for what Lindelof makes up for in terms of his one-on-one duels, he's fairly quick across the floor. He firefights a lot because he reads the game well, and he's usually in the right position. And he will give me more consistent performances than Maguire has been doing, in my opinion. I think a combination of Lindelof and Varane would be nice to see. Would be nice to see, me personally. But I don't think we'll ever see that. Like I said, Maguire's the captain. I just can't see, unless it got stupid, like Maguire kept scoring own goals or kept giving away pens and kept it consistently. I know he hasn't been great. I'm not saying he's been good by any stretch of the imagination, and I think he should be out of the team as well. But I'm saying for Ranić to change it would have to get nuts. It'd have to get nuts. He'd have to be doing some breeze that, like, even he can't excuse it, where he's got to sit him out. But as a captain, he's just not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. I can't see him doing it. United Fan TV says, I've been shouting for Varandelof since Varane signed. Lindelof is also better on the ball. Less mistakes come from his side. Yeah, I agree with that, says Cooley. O&O says, Maguire gets way more leeway compared to the likes of Pogba for sure. Why did Pogba get stripped of the captaincy? Yeah, I think that uncertainty about his future and stuff like that. And like you said, he doesn't get as an easier ride. Do you see Elanga getting left out if Alvarez gets in, says Drake Josh? Yeah, yeah and no. I think it's hard to say. I mean, is the reason why Elanga's getting in there right now because Martial's come back from injury and now he's going to leave, so they're kind of keeping him in and about the squad because he used him in the last 10 minutes against Palace, was it? He did, I think it was. He come off the bench against someone. Was it Norwich? I think it could have been Norwich. I can't remember who it was, but when Elanga came on ahead of like Jesse or ahead of whoever else, it was a big shout. It was a big shout. So but I do think if Alvarez comes in, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see with that. Yeah, and Baye's going to African Cup of Nations, says Lil Yo-Yo as well. So again, he's not going to be available. So Nigel Farrar says, can Ronaldo play 3 90-minute games in a week? Yeah, he can. Absolutely. Tip-top condition. Look, he's not one of the highest runners. He puts in a shift, but he looks after himself. 100% Ronaldo can play 3 90-minute games in a week. Don't get me wrong. If he has to come off, for a little bit, he can come off. But I think he'll start the majority of the games, especially he scored in the last game as well. He's starting against Wolves 100%. I can't see him not starting. So yeah. So now on our bench, hopefully Lindelof is back because we need some cover on there. Obviously, Tuanzebe is not getting in it. He's going to go after Napoli. Phil Jones is there for backup now that Eric Bailly's gone. And if Lindelof isn't quite ready yet, which I think he should be after obviously being positive for COVID. Ralph said if he gets his test back okay, he'll be okay. But if he's not, then it's all on Phil Jones. And if Rafael Varane pulls up, touch wood, the Rolls Royce is not a Corsa, then Phil Jones will probably have to play. But it'd be interesting with Phil Jones. I wonder if Ralph would rather put like Matic centre back or McTominay than Phil Jones. I don't know, just a food for thought. I was thinking it against Newcastle when I saw Phil Jones warming up, and it looked like Rafa Varane was struggling, but I think he just needed energy. He got some energy bar or something in the end. I was thinking, right, I might have just put McTominay centre back, but then he was struggling, and then McTominay struggling with a foot injury, but played through it at half time, even though he was going to be in pain, etc. So maybe McTominay might get rested against Wolves. We don't know. Over 1,000 people watching now as well, which is sick. And still not 500 likes, guys. Come on, there's over 1,000 of you watching. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 500 before the end of the video. What about Mengi, says Joey. Mengi, again, I just think he's way off getting in. Just way off getting in. To be honest with you, we've got seasoned pros who can't even get a game in Eric Bailly, who signed a new deal, probably wondering why. And obviously, Lindelof's going to have to play second fiddle when Varane is back fully fit, with how it is now. So yeah, Rashford burst of speed remind me of a TVR car. Flex, interesting question. Could we be looking at a centre back this window on loan? Says Lil Yo-Yo. Nah, not for me. I don't think they will. I think Lindelof comes back from COVID. Even if he's not back this game, because it might be too soon, he'll obviously be back for the next game. So I think you've got 3 centre halves to get through with a month of about 3 weeks. Got 3 centre halves. And Jones if you had to, and or McTominay if you had to fill in, or Matic if you had to fill in. So we'll be all right. And I think we've got a big gap. I think we got a week. We've got a week between games because we're not in the Carabao Cup. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we play Wolves tomorrow, and then we play again on the 10th, and then we've got 5 days between the 10th and the Villa game. Do you know what I mean? And then after the Villa game, we don't play again until the 22nd. So the games are quite spaced out. 5 days in between games and stuff like that. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Sometimes a week. So I don't think we'll need to go into the market for a centre half at all, to be honest. Guys, so thanks for watching. That's your Wolves look ahead preview done. Bruno returns. I should have done a poll, really. I think it was quite mixed. A lot of you guys did say Bruno should start. I'm going with no, he shouldn't. I'm saying go again with Greenwood and Sancho, see how it goes. And definitely, obviously, Cavani and Ronaldo up front. I'll go Luke Shaw. Actually, let me just give you my team. I'll give you my team before I leave. Obviously, David De Gea in goal. I'll go Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, people say I've got an agenda against him. Prove that I don't. I'll go Wan-Bissaka, right back, Varane and Maguire, because I don't think Lindelof's going to be back yet. If he is, I'll go Varane and Lindelof, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Left back, Luke Shaw. I would go with Donny and McTominay for this game. I think McTominay had a really good game if he's fit. If not, then just McTominay and Fred. I would leave Bruno out and I would go with Sancho and Greenwood again. And up front, I would go with Ronaldo and Cavani. That's what I would do. Let me know what you do, guys. Hit a like on the video on the way out. And I'll see you again this evening at 7 after the Liverpool-Chelsea game. That'd be a good game to watch. Which predictions on that? Hopefully we get a nice little draw out of that. You know what I mean? Get both of them two losing points. Liverpool lost their last game, didn't they, against Leicester. Chelsea not doing great. So little draw there. Draw them in. You know what I mean? Draw them in. And I'll see you then, guys. Peace. Have a good day.